Hey, American History students, this is Dr. Fagan. I am going to be your instructor this semester, and I just wanted to make a quick video to orient you to the course, to the layout, where to find everything, how everything's going to work, just to help you feel a little more comfortable with as getting started in the class. So once you've logged in, you're going to see a screen that looks like this. So this is our home screen. Notice that at the top, you'll see the same links that you'll see in every course that you have on D2L at GHC. You've got the course home, syllabus, content, assessments, communication, media, and grades. The ones that are really important for you are obviously going to be the syllabus. If you click on that, it will take you to the course syllabus, which you can read to learn kind of all the details of the course, the information, the description, how to get in touch with me. You can click on instructor information, and it'll take you to how to get in touch with me, the learning objectives, career competencies, and then down here, if you come to assessments, you can see how you're going to be graded in the course, what the assignments will be, along with a description of each of the assignment types. The last bit is the course schedule, and it just breaks down the course week by week, what our central historical question is, what graded assignments you have due, and when they're due. So the syllabus is really important. Content, if you click on content, it will always take you to the main table of the main content page with a table of contents on the left. So this is a great way to work your way through the course. You'll notice that um, here on the left-hand side, you can see the entire layout of the course. The overview is the kind of newsletter, the intro newsletter that you got last week. You then move into this one labeled number 1, Start Here. This is obviously where you want to start with the course. This is what we'll be doing in week 1 of the course. Week 2 corresponds with this folder labeled 2, Colliding Cultures. Week 3, week 4, 5, 6, 7, so on and so forth, all the way until we get to the end. So the ones with the numbers are the ones that correspond to kind of each of the weeks. That contains all of the learning material and graded assignments for the week. And then below that, you have a couple of extra folders. This one is called Case Study Resources and then Extra Credit Projects. Case Study Resources has important and helpful information for the case study itself. So if you have questions about how the case study works, or if you need to go back and look at a sample or review the rubric or anything like that for that big assignment, then you can click there. And then the extra credit project options are down here. All right, so that is always going to be laid out for you, making it easy to kind of navigate. So that's the content link. Under assessments, you can go directly to assignments, discussions, and quizzes. We will be submitting case studies and extra credit assignments through the assignments tab, and then you'll have quizzes every week. We don't really have discussions in the discussion forum, in the D2L discussion forum in this class. The discussions will be done on Perusall, which I'll show you in a few minutes, but you can use the discussion forum to ask questions. So let me click on that. There is one, introduce yourself. I just want to get to know you a little bit. And then you'll see that there's a general questions thread, but also a weekly questions thread. So if you have questions about the course, you can ask them here, and that way either your classmates or I can answer them. All right, so that's assessments. Communication, the biggest thing for you, you'll have the announcements. The announcements will also pop up on the homepage, as will the calendar. Each week has a checklist, so you can access the checklists here, but they're also embedded in the weeks. So you really don't have to use the communication tool all that much, but it is available to you. And then the other one that you're going to use is grades. This is where you can go and see your grades on any given assignment. So I click on grades, you can see all of the graded assignments in the class laid out here. And then as they get graded, they'll populate with the number and also the feedback that I have, or that I've left you. Okay, so those are the links at the top of the page. Let's go back to content for a minute, so I can show you how the course is set up, how everything is kind of labeled and nested. So let's start with week 1. This is where you're getting started. You've already found your way here if you're watching this video. And you can see that if I click on Start Here Orientation, week one is going to have two different parts. The first part is the orientation and class overview. That's kind of getting you started, helping you figure out how the course works and how to be successful in it. And then once you're comfortable with that, you'll move on to the week one learning materials. Notice that these two sections correspond with the submodules over here. So orientation and class overview, and then the week one learning materials. If I open up the orientation and class overview, this is the video that you're watching right now. You can find the syllabus, a full course schedule. So if you want to know what's going on in week four, you can just open up week four. It runs from August 31st to September 6th here. You can see this is for fall. Um, and you can open it up and see what's in there. There's also a section on grading expectations. So if you really want to understand where your grade comes from and how it's calculated, you can read through this page. It starts with a list of the assignments, the purpose of each of the assignments, what you're learning and why you're being assessed in the way that you are, how to be successful, what success looks like on these assignments, as well as my late work policy. The next section is on using the course materials. So each of the weekly modules, which are the ones labeled with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, are organized the same way. They always start with a start here overview, then they provide historical context, which has video lectures and an optional textbook. Then you have primary sources, and then you have graded assignments. So let me show you. I'm going to scroll over here to week 2, right? So start here, historical context, primary sources, graded assignments. This is the way it's always going to be organized, and you can see what can be found in these start here or in these smaller folders in this list. So, kind of get yourself used to this because that's what you're going to see from week to week. Then you can read about the course materials. This course primarily relies on video lectures and perusal. The video lectures are your primary source of instruction each week, and they will give you what you need to know for the quizzes. Then in perusal, you will be working with the central historical question. Okay, so each week, the class is organized around a central historical question. This is a big question about the period that doesn't have an easy right or wrong answer. It can be answered in a number of ways based on evidence. So I want you, what you're going to be doing is kind of weighing evidence to figure out what your answer to that question is. And the perusal assignments will help you do that. So these are the big things, the video lectures and perusal. There are links in each of the folders to an online textbook that you can use if you want. This is just for background information and review. The quizzes never come from the American UOP. You never have to read it. It's just there to help you. And then there are weekly resources to help you stay organized. There are note-taking outlines and study guides that can help you prepare. All right, so that's the course materials. You see, you remember that I said that we use video lectures. The video lectures come from this website. And if let's just click on Mesoamerican Civilizations, you can see that it has the video, a table of contents, a transcript if you prefer. So every video has a transcript if you prefer to read. It tells you how long that video is. The videos are hosted on YouTube, so you can speed them up, slow them down, pause them, whatever it takes for you to kind of understand the material. This is the textbook that I was telling you about, the one that's optional. And then we have how to use perusal. So there's a video on how to use perusal. Watch that first. And then there is a practice assignment. So if I open up perusal, the link to that practice assignment will take you to this optional syllabus review. And if I click on that and then I click open, you'll see that there is just kind of a way for you to practice with the assignment. And what that basically does is you'll read through the syllabus, ask questions. To ask a question, you're just going to highlight the text that you have a question about, and then type your question here, and then put post comment. All right. You can tag someone. So if you wanted to tag me with your question, my name would appear You obviously, I can't tag myself, obviously, but if you tagged me, then I would see it. You can tag everyone in a conversation. You can tag everyone in the class. All of those will flag an immediate notification in Perusal for that person. So play around with this until you get a feel for it, because we will have kind of actual graded discussions each week. So in week one, I, you can see there's the assignment. Here is here's where you can open it, but you can also read the instructions here. So if I open this, the instructions again, this one has two parts. It has a video by Chimamanda Adichie on the danger of a single story, and then an article by Catherine Walbert called Reading Primary Sources. So I want you to watch the video and comment. You need to make 3 comments for that, and then you'll click to 2, and you'll read this article and make 4 comments for that. When you move to week 2, it goes to 3 parts. There are 3 parts. There's a video that explains the central historical question, kind of grounds it so you understand it better. Then there is a secondary source article, and then there are primary source excerpts. You can read the instructions to know what you need to do for each of these, but in a nutshell, essentially you have to watch the entire video for part 1. For part 2, you're going to make 3 comments. For part 4, you're going to make 4 comments on at least 2, spread across at least 2 different excerpts. So 2 comments on one source, 2 comments on a different source. All right, so that's Perusal. That'll look the same from week to week as well. Then you have the frequently asked questions. So a lot of the commonly asked questions can be answered here. If you still have questions, you can either put them in the discussion forum, right? Any questions, or you can reach out to me. These are the best ways to reach me. These are my office hours. You are in an online class, but you're not alone. So please make sure that you reach out if you have any questions. And then that's the orientation and class overview portion. Once you're comfortable there, you move to the learning materials. And this week you have a note-taking outline. Each week we'll have a note-taking outline to help you keep your ideas and notes organized. It doesn't give you all of the information that you need, but it keeps a structure. So that will help you identify the key points. Then you have 2 videos to watch: Intro to Historical Thinking, Sourcing Historical Documents, and then an explanation on what is a case study. All right, so what is the case study assignment? You don't have a case study for week 1, but they will start in week 2. So you can go ahead and kind of get a sense of what it is. Once you've gotten through these 2 subfolders, you're ready to move to the graded assignments, and those include the perusal discussion, which we just discussed, and a quiz. All right, so that is week 1. After you've completed week 1 on Monday, after everything's been submitted on Sunday, week 2 will start, and you'll have kind of a normal week. This is the one that includes those 4 submodules: start here, historical context, primary sources, graded assignments. The start here will always kind of lay out what you can expect, and then you'll always have a checklist to make sure that you are doing everything that you need to do. Then you'll have that note-taking outline, and you'll have a study guide to help you review for the quiz. So these are resources to kind of help you study. Each week, start by clicking on this main landing page, because there's a video that introduces it. You learn about the central historical question, our goals, what your case study is doing. A lot of important information about the week can be found by clicking on that. All right. Then once you've gotten through the overview, you're ready to kind of really get started. Click on the historical context. Work your way through this. Textbook reading, again, is optional. Then you can take a look at the primary sources if you want, or you can skip them for right now. The primary sources that are here are there as a resource, because those same primary sources can be found in Perusal. So let me click on this. You'll find a reminder of this if you click on that main landing page. These are the same primary source excerpts that appear in part 3 of Perusal, where you have to comment on them. So the ones in D2L are more as a resource, not an assignment. So they're just there for you. Then you can go to graded assignments. You can take so you've got the quiz, you've got the discussion, and the case study. Now, let me talk about what this means. Every week you're going to have a quiz. It is required. Every week you're going to have a perusal discussion. It is required. Every week from 2 through 7, there's a case study. That means that there are 6 case studies this semester. You only have to do 3 of them. Which 3 you choose is entirely up to you. You can do the first 3 and get them out of the way. You can choose the 3 you're most interested in. You can choose to skip weeks where you're exceptionally busy or you have a heavy course load or heavy workload from another course. You can choose to do 3 and then do an additional one to replace the earlier lower grade if you need to. The gradebook is set up to take the 3 highest grades, just drop the 3 lowest grades. So you can use that to get better at the case studies and kind of improve your grade however you want. So every week you'll have the choice of doing the case study as long as you get 3 done by the end of the semester. I do recommend that you do a case study early, either week 2 or 3, so that you can get feedback, and that can help you decide how to choose from the remaining case studies. All right, so quiz, perusal, case study. Once you've submitted all of that, then you'll be ready for week 3, and it's organized the same way. So all of this will become very familiar. The question changes, the content changes, but the structure remains the same, right? Okay. I do have a video on how to do the case study, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but do note that that is down here. Okay, so that is the course. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. I am here to help. I'm happy to help. Everything should be laid out um, fairly clearly for you, but if you have any questions, just let me know. I look forward to working with you this semester.